Hello and good evening, Teacups. Welcome back to Teacup Castle. Welcome back to Spill the Tea Loo. Welcome back to an absolute shit show by Manchester United. We have just had, here we go, deal done, Ornstein Bomba, Fabrizio Romano. Everybody's out there. I'm going to read it from David Ornstein. Tottenham Hotspur win the race to sign Matheus Fernandes from West Ham United. Spurs submitted the highest proposal, believed to be £85 million, guaranteed. And the 21-year-old West Ham United Football Club midfielder opted to join Tottenham Hotspur. Numbers beyond where Manchester United were willing to go. Now, there's a number of things in this. Am I devastated not to pay £85 million for Matheus Fernandes? No. I think the price is too high. It is an inflated market, but I think the price is too high. I don't think he's exactly what we need. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's the player. I'm not devastated about not getting Matheus Fernandes. He's clearly easily influenced by his agent, and he's clearly happy to go where the money is. That's not what I look for in a player. Those are not good signs. Those are the makings of a bomb squad player. Okay, so not getting Matheus Fernandes, not totally devastated by that. However, the problem is we at Manchester United have been working on this deal for at least a month. Longer, much longer, but at least a month. We had Ederson, here we go, before the transfer window opened. Weeks before the transfer window opened. And apparently the only thing we've done since that is be linked to Lewis Hall, which we then said was a lie, and work on Matheus Fernandes. We have repeatedly been told that Manchester United were confident of getting Matheus Fernandes. Is this the same confidence we had of getting Liam Delap and then he went somewhere else too? So the more confident we are, the more concerned I am, basically is the trend with Manchester United. I wasn't devastated about Elliot Anderson. Crazy money. He was clearly always leaning to City. I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's like the way everybody thinks he is. I think he's highly overrated as it stands. Tonali, I'm slightly disappointed about if we don't get him, but again, I do believe City is his priority. Matheus Fernandes, I think, is a reasonable player. I think he's got good potential. Do I think he solves Manchester United's problems? No. What is the problem, though, is that we're going from player to player to player to player, missing all of them. I prefer Alex Scott. I quite like Tyler Adams. I'd love Tchouaméni. If Bruno G has magically become available, and according to Arsenal he is, fantastic. Think they're all better than Matheus Fernandes. My problem isn't not getting Matheus Fernandes. My problem is that the club can't seem to get anybody they want. My problem is the club was confident of getting Matheus Fernandes, and apparently that confidence was entirely misplaced. So, we are here for a watch-along between the Ivory Coast and Norway. But guys, I needed to get that off my chest before we go any further into the stream. So let me look at what you guys are saying. Shem, Teacup Shem, I'm warning you now. I do not want to hear any complaining about your club in this stream. I will absolutely not hear of it. You have now signed 5 players. 5. Nobody else has done more than 1. Spurs have done 5, and they're all really good players and good additions. Don't want to hear any complaining from you today. So, best behaviour, Teacup Shem. But, let us look. Let us look at what you guys are saying. Guess was first, and Shem was second, and that was prior to the news. That was prior to the bombas and the here we goes. Tom can't make it, but he will be here for the show later on. But he came to drop his like. Daz is in the chat as well. And then Bonkers. Bonkers came along when the Bomba did and told us that Fernandes had opted for Spurs and kind of gave the update that I've just given. Gaz then joined and said, Fernandes to Spurs, our club is a joke. Gaz would also like to know if Shem is happy yet. Don't ask him that, because if he says no, I'm going to kick his tushy. Gaz says our window is going from bad to worse. Bonkers says so is ours. Let me see. Flossie is here as well. Hello to Flossie. Tom says, this is the lack of ambition from the board that made me type an angry comment about bots after Anderson. Fernandez is now off the table. Let's go one step down again. Congratulations, Shem. Shem says, Bomba. Fernandez to Spurs 85 million. If Levy was dead, he'd be turning in his grave at giving up that much money. Gaz says, Ederson and Menu in midfield. Only way it could get worse now is Baleba incoming. And you know what, Gaz? That's what I'm starting to get a little bit worried about now. That's what I'm starting to stress about a little bit. My stress isn't if we go to Alex Scott or Tyler Adams or somebody like that. That's not my concern. My concern is if we go to Baleba. If we go to Baleba, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to think about that because if we go to Baleba, we'll talk about that then. We better not. We absolutely better not go to Baleba. Let me see. Gaz says, yes, Tom, severe lack of ambition. The board just love walking away from deals. We're counting down, by the way, guys. Hold on till I get the timer and then I'll come back to your comments. I'm absolutely disgusted. I can't believe I'm live right now. And that's after dropping. I'm absolutely fuming. And as I said, I'm not fuming about not getting Mateus Fernandez. I wasn't all that like, oh my God, on him anyway. So I'm not unbelievably devastated we didn't get Mateus Fernandez. Good player, good potential, would have been a good part of the squad, but 85 million's crazy. And not devastated. I'm furious about the fact that the club were so confident deal was going to be done. They're ahead against Spurs and we didn't get him. Funny enough, we were this confident on Liam Delap. Didn't get him either. Amazing how we're so confident and then it just never happens. Sorry, guys. Let me try and get my shit together because I'm actually raging. Oh, like fuming at the incompetence. I'm not fuming about not getting Mateus Fernandez. I am utterly furious at the total, complete incompetence and lack of awareness from our club. Gaz says, Tom, if we fail to sign Fernandez, I really can't see us managing to sign Tchouaméni. I don't think he's a realistic proposition. That's just, I'm clinging to anything I can at the minute, but I don't think that's a realistic proposition either, if I'm totally honest with you. Bonkers is offering Gakpo to Shem. Let me see. Shem is entering into a swap deal. Richarlison for Gakpo. Good God. It is too much money for him. But you're doing things. That's 5 players, Shem. 5. And 2 of them are free. Like, that's unbelievable business from Spurs. Unbelievable. Hello, Ashley. Welcome back to the chat. Huge says, the only way I can forgive this is if we get Tonali off Spurs or get Tchouaméni. I don't think we're getting either. See if we do a coup and we get Bruno G, which I also don't think we'll do, I'd cope. If we got Bruno G, I would cope with that. If we saw, right, this is hopium, right? Utter hopium. If we saw Arsenal go in for Bruno G and realised actually Bruno G is available if you put enough money down, and we're going to try and pip Arsenal to Bruno G and then we do it, I'll forgive it. Other than that, don't come anywhere near me, Man United. Honestly, that's the only thing I would forgive. Let me see. Flossie's telling me to calm down. I'm trying. Huge. Oh, I love this from Huge. Apologies to Shem. I do apologise to Shem for this one, but you know what? You deserve it right now. I can only hope Fernandez carries on relegating every team he joins in England. Do you know what, Huge? Good enough for him. No, look, I'm not mad at the player. I'm not mad at Spurs. I'm mad at Man United. Spurs did what it took to get the player that they really, really wanted. The reason they were able to do that is because they got really two really good players on a free. They got two free. They got Senesi on a free, man, right? That's why they're able to pay a little bit over the odds for Van Hecke and for Fernandez, because they've saved money elsewhere. Intelligent business is the reason they've been able to up their offer higher than us. We don't do intelligent business, so we don't have that money lying around to pump on. See, if we got like good deal, and then we overpaid every so often, nobody would care. It's because we overpay for everything is the problem. Right. Let me see. Rob is saying hello to everybody. Ashley says Tyler Adams is interesting. Gaz says, I'm a mix of both, Lou. I'm disappointed in not getting Fernandez, but fuming with the board. So much time wasted and delusional confidence. I'm not overly disappointed about Fernandez, I'll be honest. He's done what's best for him. I'm not criticising him, but he's chased the money. He's just gone, he's done what his agent has told him, Jorge Mendes, and he's followed the money. Neither of those are traits I want in a player. We clearly were not like a strong preference, because if we were, that wouldn't have mattered to him. So again, that's another thing I don't really want. I think he's a good player. I'm not going to criticize his ability. I think he's a good player. Do I think he's brilliant? No. Do I think he's very good? No. I would have been happy to have him. But the qualities he's shown me in this decision making, I'm not devastated, if I'm honest with you, not getting him. I'm genuinely not. I'm fuming with the board. The wasted time and the delusional confidence, that's what I'm fuming about. That is the problem. We had this confidence about Liam Delap and he went to Chelsea. Thank God, because he's brutal and we got Sesko. So the fact that this has happened doesn't mean that it won't work out. We might end up falling upwards, right? We thought we were getting Liam Delap. We were 100% confident we were getting Liam Delap. He went to Chelsea. Best thing that could have happened to us. We got Sesko. Delap has been abysmal. I wouldn't swap him for all the money in the world. You can fall upwards. The problem is this is the second time we have been absolutely delusionally confident that we were going to get a player and then that player goes somewhere else. My problem isn't losing this player. My problem is the wasted time, the delusional confidence, and the fact that we have apparently done nothing else for a month except for work with this player, and then we've not got him. It's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. Absolutely, totally fine. This doesn't mean our window is effed. We can fall upwards. I'm disgusted at the stupidity. Shem's rage quitting the cult. I'll be honest with you, Shem. I don't have time for anyone else's rage right now, so bottle it and keep it for later. Oh. Damien says, I'm disappointed but not panicking. Will save my judgment until after the last day of the transfer window. I'm not panicking. I'm furious. I'm not panicking. Because, like I said, we didn't get Liam Delap, who we were confident on, and we went on to have an excellent window and got some really good players. I'm not panicking. I'm absolutely furious at the stupidity of it. Not panicking just yet. If the Baleba links start to hot up again, then I'll panic. If we get Baleba, I'll panic. Neil is here. Hello to Neil. Yes, apparently the Norwegians stole the rowing thing from the Swedes. We did it at some metal concert. That's right. I'm claiming it, says Guess. Speaking of the Norwegians, where's Harold? He must be working, the poor man. He might be working. Patrick, hello to Patrick. Thank you. Again, incredible generosity from Patrick. Again, oh, Kalina, let him on the pitch. Let him be in charge of Man United's transfers. Patrick says, by the way, there's a corner here for Côte d'Ivoire. I am looking at the game. If anything happens in the game, I will tell you. But obviously, this has just happened, and I'm not okay. Nothing has happened. Patrick says, the only positive is it might force the board to do something and actually do something. What's stupid now is this deal makes the base price for central midfielders, and that is apparently something we were unwilling to pay. Right, but why don't we do what Newcastle are doing? Newcastle have identified like 4 different £40 million targets, all in the midfield, all very good. How have Newcastle found Manzambi, who seems perfect? If Newcastle can find Manzambi, if Manzambi is the perfect replacement for Tonali, why don't we just buy Manzambi for 40 million instead of Tonali for 100? If we don't want to pay the prices in the Premier League, don't. Go and find these other players that these other teams are able to find and pay for them. Get the next one before they're overpriced. Why are we so stupid? I don't have a problem with not wanting to pay mad money for Premier League players. Fine, that's okay. Go and identify the next players that are out there. There is players out there available at reasonable prices that we are willing to pay, and we're too lazy to go and get them. Newcastle are doing the work. Newcastle has found him. Go and pay for him. The problem isn't not paying the money, because the market at the minute is insane. The problem is, if you don't want to pay the money, you can't just keep saying, I don't want to pay it. You have to find an alternative solution to your problem, and we're not doing that either. That is our problem. If you don't want to pay the money, fine. Find the alternative solution. Or at least copy the other clubs that are. But thank you to Patrick for your super chat. It's very much appreciated. Yes, Ashley. And I didn't criticize the move for Ederson. I was one of the people that did not criticize the move. He's a reasonable price. He's in a position we need. And he seems to be, based on the numbers, a reasonable player. Go and get some more of those. Go and get Manzambi. Go and get him. If Newcastle can find 4 of them in 2 weeks, why can't we? Why do we not have a list like this? And by the way, if everyone else's youths, 18, 19, 20 are good enough, why aren't ours? I'm not saying we should promote all the youth and that's the answer to everything. But if we're willing to pay that money for 18, 19, 20-year-olds from other teams, why are our own 18, 19, 20-year-olds not that good? Like, look at Rio Ngamoa for Liverpool. Incredible. Look at his age. Why do we not have that within our ranks at United? Because right now, we don't. We don't. Why not? If we don't want to pay, you have to find them where they're cheaper, or you have to produce them. You can't just keep saying, it's too expensive. Fine. Nobody cares if it's too expensive. Find the other solutions. Produce them or scout them. If you don't want to do any of those things, that's your problem. Jazz says, smash the likes. Please smash the likes, guys. I'm actually not very happy. I know I'm hiding it quite well. I'm actually not very happy right now. I'm quite annoyed. Quite very annoyed. Actually, raging. And you know what? Red Rebellion, you're probably right. United are going to end up overpaying for Sander Berg. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. You're 100% correct. Or we're going to go back to Baleba. If we go back to Baleba, goodness me, I just don't think I can do it. Obviously, I'll be here. But I mean, I don't think I have the words for if we go to Baleba. But Patrick, again, with the super chat, thank you again. This board disguises incompetence as competence. We set arbitrary barriers, price, wages, age, Premier League proven. They lock themselves into a logic that's actually inherently illogical. Yes, it does make sense. It does make sense. It does make sense. And this is the thing. The problem is not missing out on Fernandes. The problem is everything that surrounds it. The problem is no other options. The problem is, like, if we had just done this, right? See, when Spurs were signing their 4 other players, we could have got this over the line. If we had just got Fernandes over the line, while Spurs were busy signing their 4 other players first, this deal could have been done. He could have already been our players. Spurs wouldn't have been an option for him. And that's the problem. It's the incompetence. It's the slowness. We know, right? Everybody now knows, right? I understand nobody expected the prices this summer to be what they are. The prices have been a bit of a surprise. Fair. You should have had backup plans. You should have had scouting lists. And the minute you saw that the pricing was crazy, you should have moved on. You should have gone, right, Premier League prices are crazy this window. Let's move it along. We have a list of players ready to go anyway. What this has told me is there's no backup plan. And again, that is incompetence. Completely incompetent. Rob says, it's annoying. We are pathetic. Yes, we are. Damien says, at some point, corner Cote d'Ivoire headed away. Damien says, at some point, they've got to put their money where their mouth is instead of just throwing words out of their mouth. The thing is, I don't mind not throwing the money. That's the thing. I don't mind not spending 116 on Elliot Anderson. I don't mind not paying 85 million for Mateus Fernandes. However, if we've made that decision, we need to then have alternatives that are not in that price bracket, and we don't have those either. That is the problem. We also should have players that we're prepared to pay for. I understand not paying mad money for every player, but stick down a mad offer for Bruno G. I mean, if Arsenal have opened the door with a silly offer, why don't we just stick down a mad offer for Bruno G and just see what happens? Why don't we... The Tchouaméni one I'm not sure on, because he doesn't want to leave Real Madrid. Bruno G I don't think wants to leave Newcastle, but the rumours are weird. But why don't we just go in with, like, boom? You know, just... But see, Red Rebellion, that's not true. That's not true. For example, Munoz, that you guys got, 40 million, great little winger, great age, great fitness, great stats. He's worth it. So there is players that are worth it. There's absolutely players that are worth it. We're just not going for any of them. That's my problem. There are players that are worth it. In this market, even in this overinflated, crazy price market, there are players that are worth it. We're just refusing to go after them. Patrick says, when Ineos came in, they cut the number of scouts we had drastically. I think that's why Premier League proven is a thing. They don't have the scouts for anything else. That could be a part of it, Patrick. That's definitely, I think the homegrown thing, I think we're running low on homegrown players. So that's potentially part of it. But I think yours is probably more. Probably more. Neil says, you shouldn't be surprised by these owners. No, I shouldn't. Lucky is saying we're not going to pay, but Lucky, the problem isn't about not paying. That is not the problem. Listen to the whole show. That is not the problem. The problem is not paying, which I've said 5 times already. The problem is if you don't want to pay, you have to have alternatives, and we don't have alternatives. The problem is not paying. The problem is we don't want to pay and we haven't set in place any alternative plans. That is the problem. Red Rebellion says that was a release clause. I know, I covered the Munoz story throughout his move on this channel. I actually was covering Munoz when he was linked to Newcastle before Liverpool. I'm very aware of the Munoz deal, and I'm very aware that it was a release clause. However, there was also a move for Zadok Johanna, which Brighton got for a steal. There's also a move for the wee chap we covered yesterday, whose name has just gone out of my brain now, Manzambi. He's 40. There's multiple players. Yes, Munoz, he was a clause, but there are multiple other players of similar quality out there for the same price. Multiple. Patrick says, Alex Scott's sister is the United women's team captain. Get her on the blower now, negotiating a deal for us. The thing is, Alex Scott is supposedly a Spurs fan. As far as I know, he's a Spurs fan. Shem says, I would have preferred to spend money like that on Wharton, but I'll hold judgment until I see him play under the Spursy or even Alex Scott. Thing is, supposedly Adam Wharton is 100 million as well. I saw a story about that recently, about Adam Wharton. Like I said, guys, I'm not really devastated not to get Mateus Fernandes. I'm more annoyed that the club don't seem to have any other plans. Now, do you see if they come out and they just, like, they're working on something behind the scenes none of us know about, and like in 24 hours we get a here we go for someone else, I'll go fair, unless it's Baleba. Into the side net there by Cote d'Ivoire. I did see there's a fine there for Villa and Chelsea. I'll probably cover that tomorrow, guys. The only reason I'm even covering Mateus Fernandes in the watch-along is because it's literally just happened and we've spent weeks talking about it. But I'll talk about the fines and all that kind of stuff at lunchtime tomorrow or later on if it's boring. But at some point I'm going to engage with the match that we're watching along to. I just need to let me blood settle away back. I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming about the way the club is handling things, not about the actual move. Well, Damien, considering every single player that we scout and are actually interested in and make contact with, there's a report on, and there's been absolutely no reports whatsoever, then I think it's a pretty fair assumption. I'm taking from your comment, and maybe I'm reading into it, are we just assuming or guessing? Seems a little bit judgy. Maybe it's not, and I'm reading into it. But there's nothing we do that isn't documented in the media. Not one single thing we do isn't documented in the media, and there's nothing else documented. And I think I look at enough stories to know. So, yes, we're speculating, but it's based on like information that's out there. So if you want to trust that we're doing it for other players without concrete evidence, you go right ahead. I'm not. I hope so too, Patrick. Thank you very much for the super chats. I appreciate it very, very much. It's very kind. And enjoy your evening, Patrick. Hopefully we'll all feel a bit better when we've calmed down. Bonkers is saying Lou is ranting. Go ahead. I'm calming down now. 20 minutes later, I'm calming down. I'll be all right. I just need to get out of my system. See, normally, guys, when this stories come out, I see them and I have time to get raging. And then by the time we stream, I've calmed down. You are actually getting more or less a live reaction to this because it's come out. I've seen it just as I was going live. Africa King has joined us as well. Welcome to Africa King. But yeah, normally I have time to calm down before I speak to you guys about this stuff. So this is what I look like when it's just happened. By later on, I'll be fine. I'll still be raging at our like way of behaving, but I'll be all right. Right now, though, I'm fuming. Right now, I'm raging. I'd have been equally raging if we paid 85 million for him. I'm more annoyed that we've just wasted all this time. Rob arrived when I was in full rant mode. We've made... Guys, we're at the hydration break. We're at the hydration break. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. After the hydration break, I'm going to talk about the match. Because I actually can't. I've said everything I have to say. I've said everything I have to say on the matter. Oh, Africa King, no. No, 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 no. He's not very good. And his attitude is stinky. Guess the booze for the hydration break are fun. Let me see. What else is happening? What else is happening on the X machine? That's not going to calm me down. But we'll see. Thank you. Boffman has come in peace. He's brought coffee. It's going to be okay. Can you see that? Boffman has brought me coffee. Apparently, I was giving off the vibe that I needed caffeine. Man United, according to Fabrizio, Man United will now focus on different targets in midfield. Well, that's effing good of us, isn't it? Guys, I have to tweet. Sorry, I have to tweet about this. It's just an absolute fucking nonsense, right? I haven't done a tweet yet. I've come straight to you guys. I haven't even done a tweet. Right, let me do a tweet in the hydration break, and then we will, in fact, watch this game for the rest of it. Sorry, just give me a sec, guys. Okay, we're back up and running after the water break. Let me just proofread my tweet, and then I'll be back with you. Yeah. What do you mean, like, why now? Why now? Because that's how it read. That's how it read. Right, hold on. Africa King. Calling someone a real one is a compliment. Like when you say, oh, he's a real one, like that's a compliment. That's why everybody's assuming you want to sign him. That's how this comment reads. People didn't just make it up. People think you want to sign him because you've said Belaib is a real one. That's why. That's how the comment reads. So Africa King would like to clarify he doesn't want Baleba, but he doesn't like the fact that Mateus Fernandez was a bit mercenary, which I covered before you joined us, Africa King. I did have a long rant. I've been ranting for the whole stream. 20 minutes, that's what I was talking about. Within that rant, several times I said, I don't like that. So I do agree with you on that. I'm more annoyed at the club. Just wasted a whole month on him. That was a very good ball, Cote d'Ivoire. You probably would have been hoping for a goal there, but they didn't. Right, let me proofread my tweet. Okay. The tweet's up. I don't know if it makes much sense, but it's up. I sort of proofread it, kind of. No, Lucky. No, Lyle Thomas is a Sky reporter. Lyle Thomas is a Sky reporter, Lucky. He's the chief, he's an editor at Sky. He's like, Lyle Thomas is quite high up. He's reliable, Lucky. So, according to Lyle Thomas, West Ham's Crescencio Somerville is the top left-wing target for Michael Carrick's side. I think that's from the other day, Damien. I think that's from the other day. I think I read that out. Unless somebody else said it, but I did that story the other day. I can't remember if it was from Lyle or maybe he's reporting the same thing. I can't remember. But no, Lucky, this isn't fake. Lyle Thomas is an editor at Sky. He's a real person. Yeah, just we need to just get somebody. I'm wishing that we're doing something crazy behind the scenes. We've worked a miracle and we've kept a secret, and we're going to do what Chelsea did with Palestra, and just get somebody really good over the line. I'm raging we've wasted the time. That's all right, Daz. Yeah. And that's it. With the follow-up comments, yes. When you just said he was a real one, no. With the follow-up comments to give context, then yes. I understood what you meant, Africa King. Not happy that we broke the bank on a mercenary player, not a team player that actually wanted to come to Spurs, which is fair, Shem. That is fair. So, like, at the end of the day, you now have a player that you've paid a fortune for that you know, if United had given an extra couple of million, he would have come to us just as easy. I can understand that. I can understand that because actually I'm kind of happy we didn't get him for that reason. I said actually a few days ago I didn't like that. And I'm glad I said it a few days ago before he made a decision. I said that even when United were in the lead, I said that. So it's not salt. I really don't like that in a player. But fair, that's fair. I'll give you that one, Shem. Okay, we're up to date with the chat. We will keep nattering away, but we will now start to keep an eye. We're 31 minutes into this match. We're still 0-0. From what I've seen, Cote d'Ivoire have had the best of it. But if anyone has been paying more attention than me, feel free to correct me because I'm not quite sure. Africa King, supposedly Wharton's over 100 million now as well. I saw a report there about 2 weeks ago. I did bring it into the show, but I can't remember who reported it. Supposedly Adam Wharton, because he was linked to Liverpool at the time, don't forget. He apparently is 100 million now too because of Elliot Anderson. Bloody Elliot Anderson. And it's not even him, to be fair. It's Forest and Marinakis and City who've paid it. But I just think we should be doing what other teams are doing. Go into Europe. If we don't want to pay Prem prices, go into Europe. Yes, Damien. Spurs are well on the way to getting a whole new 11 the way they're going. Yeah. And Mendes is another problem. I do agree with not wanting a player that's a mercenary and just follows the money. I also agree with not wanting a player who is naive. And I don't mean this in a nasty way, but he's a young man. And Jorge Mendes is an incredibly experienced agent who definitely knows what he's doing. And I think it's easy to be... And maybe this isn't what happened. Maybe Mateus Fernandes, that's just the way he is as a person. It's easy to be manipulated by somebody with that level of authority when you're quite young and inexperienced with this kind of a deal. But if he's that easily influenced by Mendes and is just following the money, they don't make for good trades. Daz, at the minute, I don't have any predictions. I don't have any predictions right now. Rob hasn't watched the match. He's been listening to me ramble on. He hasn't said ramble, I have. Cote d'Ivoire with another corner, but that one was on the ground. I mean, they've got it, but they've not done much with it. I'll tell you what, though, Cote d'Ivoire definitely do feel like the team in control from what I have sort of seen. We're not getting Hall, Africa King. He's not for sale. And Man United have put out that they don't know where those rumours started from, but they're not interested in him. So Man United have put out to the media, we are not interested in Lewis Hall. They don't know where that rumour has started from. We haven't looked at him in the slightest, and we're not interested in getting a left back. We're not looking at defenders this summer. That has been put out there. So we're definitely not getting Lewis Hall. And Somerville is not a midfielder, which is what we need. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Alex Scott, I like. Alex Scott, I do like. Damien says the Ivory Coast are looking more threatening at the moment. Yeah, from the bits, I am sort of half watching it while I'm looking at the chat. And from what I've seen, the Ivory Coast definitely, it's not exactly a super tempo game, but the Ivory Coast definitely look the more attacking and the more threatening. They're definitely more on the front foot. 100%. See, I'm calming down now. I'm starting to calm down. Do you know what it is? See if we went and got Tchouameni and Alex Scott. Cool. I don't think we will is my problem. I think we're going to get bloody Baleba. And you know what it is? Again, I'm not saying Mateus Fernandes is bad, but he's double the price of that man Zambi, who I would say is probably a reasonably similar level. I'd be all right with that. I haven't looked into the Sangare links yet. I've seen them. I haven't looked into him yet. So I would want to look into him. Probably I'll do that for tomorrow's lunchtime show, the Sangare link. So I don't want to just fill you full of waffle when I haven't looked into it. I'd want to see a bit more. The thing is, bonkers, apparently Alex Scott, at the moment, his quoted price is 80 million. Because they're trying to agree a new deal with him. If he refuses to sign the new deal, supposedly he will be available for less than 80. That's been out there. Now, that might prove not to be true now with all the other sales going through, but that has been consistently reported. If he agrees, or if he fails to agree a new deal, they will let him go for a lower price. So they've said. Lucky is saying, Alex Scott, please refuse the contract. Yeah. I think I like Tyler Adams better. I like Alex Scott, but I kind of like Tyler Adams. I do. Mavis says, the prices are ridiculous. I blame us with a £125 million deal. I mean, that probably was influential, I would say. There was a ball there just straight at the keeper by Norway, but it was like directly at the keeper. It was almost like passing it back to him, only it was from a Norway player. But yeah, it's just a bit. Africa King Tyler Adams is more defensive, which is exactly what we need. He's more defensive, and what we need is more defensive. Yes, bonkers. Spurs, if they waited, potentially could have got Alex Scott cheaper than Fernandes, but you would have had to wait. So at the moment, they're in the talks. The club and the player. But if he doesn't agree, in the next week or two, he's going to become available. But Spurs would have had to wait. And what it looks like is Spurs didn't want to wait. It seems like Spurs didn't want to wait. They seem to want to get in and get all of their deals done really super early. They don't want to wait around. And it's working for them so far because they're getting everyone over the line while everyone else is waiting around. Like, everyone else still has like one. Spurs have nearly their whole transfer window done. And we say, like, sometimes teams, they wait for the new financial year. Maybe Spurs, because they could afford it in the old financial year, they wanted to do it in the old financial year, and it leaves them a whole heap of room to manoeuvre in the next financial year. And they're in different rules than everyone else. What a goal. What a goal. Was that Nusa? Incredible goal by Nusa. Completely against the run of play. Totally undeserved by Norway. Côte d'Ivoire have been by far the better team, but that was an excellent goal by Nusa. And again, a player that we don't seem to be looking at. Harold's been talking about him. How long has Harold been telling us about Nusa? And nobody seems to be looking at him. But very, very well done. Shem would have preferred Tonali. Fair, I mean, you can't argue with that. Huge says, what a goal. Mohammed says hello and then says, what a goal by Nusa. Top bins. Keeper had no chance whatsoever. Look at his own players. Look at the faces of the other Norway players as the ball was going into the net. They're like, and they're on his team. Nobody's getting Nusa Mavis. That's the problem. Nobody's getting Nusa. And I don't know why. Where is Harold? Harold has been telling us about Nusa for weeks and weeks and weeks and months. And that was insane. That was insane. Poor Harold is probably working or sleeping, God love him. Probably working though. But yes, so we are now 1-0 Norway. I wonder, are Spurs, are they either trying to get all their deals over the line before the new financial year and before other teams can put in big bids, or to benefit themselves? Probably for both. They're trying to do, it seems like, all of their deals this financial year when other teams can't. And that's given them an advantage because they've now got players over the line before other teams have the ability to even come in. So actually, very, very good tactics by Spurs. They're coming again, Norway. How has Haaland not scored? Surloth and Haaland linked up there. I'm not quite sure. Surloth gets it to Haaland. He just can't wrap his leg around it. Haaland. It was defended. It was a block. 18. Number 18 got a fantastic block in. It took me 2 replays to see that. But it is a corner, by the way, guys. Corner to Norway. Brilliant corner. That was a brilliant corner. And Surloth couldn't get to it. But yes, so leading to the corner, Haaland didn't miss. It was a very good block. Surloth gets his head to that. Very good corner. I agree. I think he's a big part of it. Absolutely agree. I think both Chelsea and Spurs have had to make a lot of promises to Alonso and De Zerbi to get them in the door. So I agree. I think you're right, Mohammed. I do think it's forming a big part of it. Côte d'Ivoire were completely on top of that match. And it's just like, totally against the run of play, but it was a very, very, very good goal. I'm sure I saw Mohammed saying that you would take Nusa at Liverpool. I'm sure you would. I tell you what, I'd pay for Noosa quicker than Barcola. I would pay for Noosa if Barcola is supposedly going to be over 100 million, which was what we read today at lunchtime. I'm telling you what, I'd pay for Noosa quicker than Barcola. Jan Diamande is about to take a corner here for Cote d'Ivoire. Norway smash and grab. Yeah, so far anyway. Strong from the keeper. Decent corner, and the keeper come out real strong and punched it away. Nyland. But it's back out with Jan Diamande, who sends it in. And was that Haaland defending? Somebody was defending anyway, and it's out for another corner for Cote d'Ivoire. What is wrong now? So Pepe is going to take this corner. It's from the other side. Defended well, headed away. I think that was Haaland again. Noosa, was that Noosa tried to break, but now he's on the ground. Do you know what? I was wrong earlier. I've thought about it. I've thought about the Marcus Rashford thing. I was wrong. We just need to sell him. I'm talking about Liverpool getting like a Noosa. Arsenal looking at Bruno G, which I don't think will happen, but if it does, I'll be devastated. Meanwhile, we're thinking about maybe keeping Marcus Rashford because we're idiots. I was wrong. We should just sell him. 4 minutes of added time on the first half, folks. Noosa's just got a yellow. He should have just not stuck his leg out there. He's just stuck his leg out and kicked away for no reason. Not to worry, all boxed up. Is the Baba feeling better? Is the kiddo feeling a little bit better? But yeah, incredible goal by Norway. Really incredible goal. Yeah, cheap foul. Cheap foul to give away, Damien. 100%. Oh, that's good, all boxed up. Free kick taken. Headed wide. It wasn't defended well. The header just wasn't directed properly. Good head to the ball, just doesn't direct it properly. Right. It's settling into that pre-halftime sort of a rhythm now. What do we reckon so far, folks? Do we think Cote d'Ivoire can come back? Do we think Norway might go further ahead? Do we think this is it? We've had our goal. No more. Four minutes. 4 minutes added to the first half, Jazz. Oh, do you know what it is? There you go. If you don't like it, don't be here. Off you pop. I've done you a wee favour. We're so serious, you can't join us again. Yeah, it's just bobbling about, guys. We're just kind of pottering into half time here, basically. Nobody's doing much of anything. Yeah, Damien, I'm assuming you saw it before I removed it. I just can't be bothered. Like, I don't go into channels and be like, I don't like this channel. This is a terrible channel. All right, see that big old X? Click it. Like, nobody's, you don't have to be here unless you're Shem. Shem has to be here. But, like, I mean, nobody's been kidnapped. If you're not enjoying it, pop yourself off. It's okay. We have hit half time, folks. We have hit half time. Let me go and stop the timer. Number one, let's stop the timer. Let's get it ready for the second half. Yeah, I was just like, right, do the timer. But no, guess you can't either. Right, let me rephrase. People we like can't. People that come in and just have a bit of a moan that's like never here, just for the sake of it, they can go. Bold teacups can go. Fake teacups can go too. But how are we all feeling, people? That was emotional. That was very emotional, and it had nothing to do with the game. The game actually seemed reasonable. Not unbelievable, but it seemed like a reasonable game. Reasonable pace. Somewhat, chances at either end. Cote d'Ivoire definitely in the driver's seat. And then Norway score an absolute screamer with Nusa. So not a bad first half, to be fair. It went incredibly fast, which again is, I suppose, partly down to the fact that we spent a lot of it speaking about Mateus Fernandez. But overall, decent match. What are we thinking? Do we think Cote d'Ivoire come back into it? I'm just looking to see if anything else has happened. Damien says, hopefully Ahmad will come on and do something. Well, I was hoping to see Ahmad. I was actually hoping to see Ahmad. I'm hoping he comes on. I agree with you, Damien. Guest says it feels pretty open. Ivory Coast could score, especially since they were the better team for large parts. And Guest says might just pee off Haaland, but yeah, they can score. United Mandem has joined the chat. Hello. Rob Dawson, ESPN, has said, Man United pushed hard to sign Mateus Fernandez, but weren't prepared to match Tottenham's bid. United never felt clear on his preference of club during talks. Mbeumo and Cunha were desperate to join last summer, and United didn't have the same feeling with Fernandez. And this is the thing. I agree with that. It was obviously unclear. I have no issue with us not signing Mateus Fernandez. My issue is with the fact that we have wasted an extraordinary amount of time on a player we admittedly knew wasn't sure. That is the problem. The problem is not getting Mateus Fernandez. The problem is the amount of time we wasted. That is the problem. Right. Let me see. Is there anything else? Stretty Dave says, if leaving West Ham to join Spurs is your ambition in the world of football, then fair play to you. Fernandes went where the bag was. Good player with great potential, but 85 million is a massive fee. He didn't do what Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo did, which is push for the move to United. So ta-ra. And I think that's it. We have to separate that. I don't have an issue with not getting Matheus Fernandes. I was never massively like, oh my God, let's get him. And the longer it went on, the more I was like, I'm seeing things I don't like. My problem is, why did we waste all that time? Why do we have nothing else? As I said, if we come out tomorrow and we signed with somebody behind the scenes, we're like, boom, boom, excellent. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else, guys. Yes, Harold, we were wondering where you are. We were talking about Noosa. I gave you all the credit. Flossie is done with cooking dinner. Shout out Mama Flossie, back with us. Huge again. I'll also add, we don't look like we had a plan if we didn't get him. I saw someone else come in there. Who did I see? Danny. I knew I saw somebody else come in and I couldn't remember who I spotted. So welcome to Danny as well. Everybody saying hi, 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 hi. I agree with the sentiment. I want players that want us. I'm not one of the people that's criticised United for that. I actually think it's important. And I think it's one of the things I really liked about the Mbeumo and the Cunha deals. I like that. I think it's important. But when it was incredibly obvious that wasn't the case with Matheus Fernandes, why didn't we straight away move the next one up? When we knew the price was going to be crazy, why didn't we move the next one up? Why didn't we act in advance? Why weren't we proactive? Why have we waited until this to be like, okay, now we'll look at other people? We should have already been doing that. That's the problem. That is the problem. Hello, NS Sports, who has joined us. Lucky says he doesn't like players where it's about the money, and I have to agree, to be fair. I have to agree. Football is a passionate sport, and while it's their job, and I don't begrudge anyone wanting to be paid, when it's the only or the main factor, then I have a problem. Yeah, this is kind of where I'm getting to. This is where I'm getting to. I need to see. Supposedly we've been looking at him, but so has Arsenal. So it's United and Arsenal are both looking at Scott, and supposedly there's still a possibility that he stays where he is. He hasn't signed a new contract, but he hasn't, as it stands, outright said absolutely no, because when he does that, apparently that's when the price drops for him. And the fact that the price hasn't dropped means he hasn't done it. So supposedly we're looking at him alongside Arsenal, but there's absolutely no movement whatsoever. We're looking at him. The same way we're looking at Tchouaméni. The same way we're looking at, do you know what I mean? You can look at lots of things. We're not actively doing anything. Irish Pit Terrier, Danny, it's starting to feel like that. It's starting to feel like that, and that will make me raging. That will make me raging. Look, we'll see. I'm not devastated about the player. I'm devastated about the way I'm a bit raging. Just we were putting it out there that we were really confident. How many stories did we see that we were really confident that we were still in the lead for Mateus Fernandez. We don't seem to be clued in. It was the exact same for Liam Delap. We thought we were getting him. I'm glad we didn't, but we thought we were getting him. I'm not calm either, Harold. I don't know why you're not calm. Probably Noosa, but I'm not calm for entirely different reasons. I think it's the right decision or the right outcome that we didn't get him. I'm just upset how we got there. Yeah, Jorge Mendes is an issue. Jorge Mendes is an issue. But the fact is, the player has allowed himself to be influenced by Jorge Mendes. The player has allowed that. And again, I don't like that, because if he's that easily influenced, that causes problems. We've seen players at United that are easily influenced by others around them, and it never ends well for the club. If a player is easily influenced by those around them, especially people with the personality of Jorge Mendes, it's not good. Nathan Salt, this market is absolutely out of control. It is. It absolutely is. Ooh. Now this is good. This is happiness. We like this. Right, Damien. Damien has a fact. Harold probably already knows it, but the rest of us don't. Antonio Noosa makes history for Norway. It's the first goal at a World Cup knockout stage in 88 years. Well done, Noosa. And Harold has been telling us about him for months. Months and months. Yeah. And the thing is, we didn't mind because we were on the receiving end of it. But that is what he does. That is what he does. He goes from place to place causing trouble. I think a lot of United fans seem to be in agreement. We're not overly devastated about the player. We're just not overly happy about the way it's all sort of happened. Ah, from Hand of Arsenal. We might talk about this tomorrow. Arsenal have made inquiries about Ilyan Meslier as a potential replacement for Kepa should he leave this summer. Isn't that the Leeds keeper that's leaving on a free? I'm pretty sure Meslier is the Leeds keeper that's leaving on a free. We covered this. All boxed up. Help me out here. Meslier, Leeds. I'm sure that's him. Leeds United can confirm Ilyan Meslier will leave the club this summer upon the expiration of his contract at Elland Road. The goalkeeper played a big part in the club's promotion winning campaigns. Yeah, so. And that's from Hand of Arsenal. Interesting. We'll have a wee look at that tomorrow. That's just popped up. Okay, that's enough of that. That's that. Back to the match. The match is coming back. Lads. They're coming back out the tunnel. That was the fastest half time ever. Yeah, everybody's going to ask for a premium now. Everybody's going to want all the money. So I'm even more confident in my assertion that we now need to follow the Newcastle scouts everywhere. That's my decision. We must follow the Newcastle scouts everywhere. And then just, I think it's the only option we have available to us now. Right, I'm waiting for the countdown. We're having a huddle. Guys, can I not just, oh no, we're having a huddle, a cuddle huddle before the kickoff of the second half while I finish my coffee. Rob, if you're behind RTE, you're in big trouble. Oh, we're doing the countdown, right? Let me go to the countdown. Okay. We are back up and running for the second half, guys. Half number 2. Right. We're at the start of the second half, guys. What are our predictions from here? What are our guesses from here for the outcome of this match? Why do I feel like we might end up with 1-1 and go into penalties again? Why does that feel like a thing now? Now that it's happened once, I feel like it's going to keep happening. Jay, hello Jay. Jay reckons Norway 2-1. Daz reckons 2-1 to Norway as well. So we've two for Norway, 2-1. 2 for Norway, 2-1. I could see it going to extra time. I do think Cote d'Ivoire will score, and then I just don't know. I really can't call this one. I think that happens. Do you know when there's a goal against the run of play? When one team has played better and then the other team are the one that scores, I think that does make it harder to predict. All Boxed Up says, hopefully Cote d'Ivoire are more cohesive going forward and clinical in front of goal. Obviously, I want Harold to be happy. We like Harold. I would like Harold to be happy. Similar to Paige, I wanted Paige to be happy. Doesn't necessarily mean I want their team to win. I want their happiness, not their victory. And I think, you know, our Ahmad is with Cote d'Ivoire, and all of our other players, like Cunha's gone through, Ederson's gone through, Mazraoui's gone through. United are on a pretty good hit rate so far with our players in the World Cup. And I want Ahmad to keep it up. Even though he's not on the pitch, his team is. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of want Cote d'Ivoire to win. Yes, that's it. We all want Harold to be happy, but we have to be honest. Jay says Ahmad needs to come on. He does, you know. Just so we can see him. What I hope is Cote d'Ivoire don't become too hesitant. So, like, they were playing on the front foot and then they conceded a goal. So I hope it doesn't stop them playing on the front foot. You can't afford to do that in a knockout. You have to go. Pepe's got it. He's done well there. He's got it back out. Cross comes in. Keeper, I think the keeper got his hand to it there, but it's gone out the other side of the box. Jay says Dewey looks a good player. It was a very good ball, wasn't it? That was his ball that came in. Oh, look at the Viking hats. Love it. Brilliant. Jan Diamande with the corner here. Guess has got her tea. Can we take the corner, please? I think it's the referee slowing us down. It's not even the players. Jan Diamande is like, can I please take the corner? Ah, he's been told to put it like in the corner area. He did have it outside the little circle part, to be fair. Poor corner. Rob says the BBC player is lagging a little behind. It's normally the RTE player, so I'm glad it's somebody else today. Bonker's got tea as well. Cote d'Ivoire, they're doing a bit of attacking now. And a lot of it is coming from Dewey. Yeah, there's tea all over the place today. Did you see that? From Dewey to control the ball. That was a little something, wasn't it? Daz. Guess has said we've all got tea. And Daz has said, I've got water. So Guess has said, water's just tea without the leaves. I love the dedication. That's brilliant. Water's only tea without the leaves. That's actually just fantastic. Do you know that? I genuinely enjoyed that one. Well done. Ivory Coast attacking again down the left this time. They're getting the balls into the box. That was skied. That was a little bit skied. But they're getting the balls into the box. And then it's just not happening. The men were having a little tussle over the ball, and one of the men just lifted it and gave it to the child. I love that. Love to see that. Yeah, sky high there. If you're Cote d'Ivoire, you kind of want to make the most of this, because this is what happened the first half. They had the possession, they had the control, they had the attack, and then Norway scored. They're getting, Cote d'Ivoire are getting the ball into the box. They just can't get it into the net, which is kind of the important part. I think they deserve to be at least level. But if they're not taking their chances, if they're not making the most of it, all the possession means nothing. And now Norway have the possession. It's actually, I know it's not a really fast-paced match, but it is quite interesting to watch. There you go, turned over there. Norway running forward. Is that Odegaard? Nusa, anyway, that's Nusa. That was loose. That was loose from Nusa. That was a good start to an attack. It was a bit loose from Noosa in the end. And now it's back with Cote d'Ivoire. I would like Cote d'Ivoire to score because it'll make the game more interesting again. It'll, pick it up again. Okie dokes, Mama Flossie. Enjoy your dinner. Noosa screaming for the pass. Yeah, and then sent it forward loosely. That was a nice wee cup of coffee from our Boffman. There was a big shot blocked and then a big shot saved. Cote d'Ivoire shot blocked and then a shot saved. And then Noosa steals it back. That was good though. That was good from Norway. Good block. Hegum. That was good defending and then good save. Good save from the keeper and then lumped away. Really good defending there from Norway. Oh, Haaland, I forgot he was on the pitch at all. I genuinely forgot Haaland existed there. Hadn't seen him, and I'm not even being funny. I just hadn't seen him. I forgot he was on the pitch. It's back with Cote d'Ivoire. Who does the winner of this go through to? I've lost the run of myself. Where's the BBC? Where is the BBC? Let us look. So right now, we know Canada will play Morocco. For sure, Canada play Morocco on the 4th. Brazil. The winner of this plays Brazil. I'll be honest, Brazil were less than convincing against Japan. Cote d'Ivoire versus Brazil. That could be interesting. Norway versus Brazil could be interesting. Whoever goes through, previously I probably would have said obviously Brazil will win. I'm not quite sure about that anymore, Not quite sure about that at all. The only full matchup that we know of is Canada-Morocco. Yeah, all boxed up. I think it will be a fairly conclusive win by Morocco. I would go with that. I would go along with that. We will watch it, but I would probably go along with that prediction. Now, we're about to see Norway take a free kick here. Martin Odegaard. That was a very good free kick. Very, very good free kick. Well done to the keeper for getting a hold of that fairly sharpish because Surloth was there. Very well done to Fofana, the Cote d'Ivoire keeper. That was a very, very good free kick. Just very well done by the keeper. Corner there for Cote d'Ivoire. A short corner. They're not sending the ball into the box here, though. They need to get the ball in the box, man. There's 3 of them out here passing to each other on the left. Why don't you just send everybody into the box, bar one, and then put the ball into the box? And now instead they've pulled it back and Wolf has absolutely skied it because he's a defender. Like, they've just showed me the replay of the Noosa goal again. It's unreal. Unreal. Yeah, but like there was 3 of them out there on the left, just passing it to each other instead of getting everybody into the box and crossing it. So Bonnie, the number 9, Bonnie here, number 9, he's gone off. He's away. Wahi. Wahi is on. Wahi. Wahi, I assume. So yes, Bonkers, substitute for the Ivory Coast. They could do. 100%. 100%. If they keep going this direction. Oh, there's 2. Ulai is off as well. Ahmad's on. How did I not see Ahmad coming on? Ahmad's on. Go on, Ahmad. But yeah, if they keep going the direction they're going in, like Martin Odegaard there is screaming in the face of the linesman. Or the 4th official, whatever their proper title is now. You just can't be doing it. Yeah. That is their problem. That is their problem. Because they're getting all the way up. And then it's the last little bit that just isn't happening. Come on, Ahmad. Ahmad to Diamonde. Diamonde's tried to run his way in and it's been taken off him by Odegaard. So it's Surloth and out to Berg. There's a Berg and a Berge. So excuse me if I get them a bit mixed up. Good tackle, Cote d'Ivoire. But yes, come on, Ahmed. Come on. All Boxed Up says, Morocco is one of the host countries and we are building what will be the biggest football stadium in the world with 115,000 spectators. I didn't know that. I actually, if you had asked me where is the next World Cup, couldn't have told you. Wouldn't have had a clue. But that's really interesting, All Boxed Up. I've never been to Morocco. I'd love to go. I've never been. I've been to Tunisia. They're your neighbour, aren't they? Tunisia is Morocco's neighbour. I've been to Tunisia, but I've never been to Morocco. It's on the list. There's Sangare there. 115,000. That'll be some stadium. Right, another quarter from Jan Diamande. We'll get this corner taken yet, lads. Right. I don't know if it was headed away or punched away, but it didn't go too far. Sent back in. Haaland defending. Headed. It's ping pong in the box. I'll tell you what, Haaland did most of the defending there. He did a lot of the defending there. He's chasing. Oh, no, right. The keeper's got it away. Keeper's got it away. For such a big man, Erling Haaland's reasonably fast, isn't he? Like, he's quite, I wouldn't expect him to be as fast as all that, but he certainly chased that ball right down. But he did. He had a few bits of defending there, Erling Haaland, and not the first time. Not the first time in this match Erling Haaland has been back defending. I've actually seen him a few times back defending. Effectively, too. So Ivory Coast tried to send the ball back in, but the Norway keeper, Nyland, jumped on it. Norway attacking, defended. Defended well. Agbadou at the back for Cote d'Ivoire. I think any time you're 1-0, it's nervy, especially against a team that is creating chances. How many corners have the Ivory Coast had? I'm yawning early tonight. We have another watch-along tonight, and I'm yawning already. The corner's going to be retaken because the referee blew the whistle as it was being kicked. There's two sets of players shoving each other, and the referee blew the whistle to stop it, but the corner was already sort of on the way in. So we're doing it again. Cleared off the line by Ahmad. That was almost that was almost going to be a goal. Cleared literally off the line by Ahmad. Very, 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 very well defended by Amad Diallo there. He has just kept the Ivory Coast in this match. "12 corners the Ivory Coast has had." That's what I went to check. 12. Oh, thank you, Damien. I went to check it and got distracted. 12 corners for the Ivory Coast. That is insane. It also goes to show how absolutely ineffective they've been. If any team has 12 corners, they should have scored. 12 corners, because you get corners when you're attacking and the ball is put out of play, and then you're getting the chance to attack again. So to get 12 corners, the Ivory Coast should have a goal here. It shows they're ineffective in the final third. Three for Norway. And to be fair, the ones for Norway, we're doing hydration break. Hydration break. And the three for Norway, two of them have been very, very good. Host countries for 2030. They're quite spread. They're quite spread. Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay. I didn't realize it was so spread out. I really, really don't normally watch the World Cup. I don't know how these things work. I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for Ahmad, Norway would be 2-0 up. Flossie says it's a bit of a hard watch. I'm enjoying it. And like that, it might just be completely my perception. And to be fair, I did spend the first 30 minutes not talking about the match. So maybe if I had been paying more attention for the first half an hour, but this still feels like the first half to me because I was talking for so long before I started talking about the match. So maybe. But Andrew says, is Jan playing a great hate along? He is. And I think he's taken almost all 12 of the corners too. It's just some goal. Every time they show the goal from Noosa, it was just an unbelievable goal. Like, just like individual quality. I'm just watching them on their wee hydration break here with their wee drink wheelie bins. Coolers. They're drink wheelie bins, you know, they're coolers. They're drinks coolers. They're on wheels though. Oh dear. Sometimes I shouldn't say all the words that come into my head. Sometimes I should think about them before they just come out of my mouth. Oscar Bob is coming on and Shelderup is coming on. Noosa is coming off. Oscar Bob was very, very, very good in the last game he played. But I don't know about Noosa coming off. So Noosa and Surloth have come off. Surloth hasn't had a good match, so fairs. Shelderup and Oscar Bob on. Oscar Bob was very good in the last match. I don't know. Fair. The words were out of my mouth before I realised I'd said them out loud. You should see the things that I don't say. Like, they're the ones that slip out. Yes, the drinks wheelie bins. They're no longer called coolers anymore. They are drinks wheelie bins. Mohammed says Norway should be 3 or 4 up. I don't know. If to be honest, if the Ivory Coast were any good in the final third, they should be 3 or 4 up. They've had 12 corners. 12. And they've not, like, the Ivory Coast should be ahead if they could do anything in the final third. And to be fair, they have now substituted Bonnie off, who was their number 9. So we'll see if this new chap makes any difference. Predictive text of the brain. I think that's what it is. Like, look at the match momentum there. It's been almost all the Ivory Coast. So we'll see. Well, lads, I think this is a hangover from yesterday. I'm like yawning. It's 7:30 and I'm yawning like a good thing. Yeah, no, this wee boyo that's been subbed on, he's certainly trying to put them under pressure, isn't he? What was his name again? The wee guy that come on? Let me get it. The wee guy that come on for Bonnie. Wahi. Wahi is his name. He come on at the same time as Ahmad. He's certainly chasing them down, putting the defender and the keeper under pressure there. He's already done more than Bonnie did for the whole match. So we'll see if that makes any difference at all. Mohammed loves the Viking chant. And Rob is saying the Ivory Coast need to show more urgency. There's Ahmad. He's running. Ahmad! Ahmad! 1-1. It's 1-1. Go on, Ahmad. What an individual goal. What an individual goal. And you know what? I'm so pleased for him. He had a really rough season at United. He had a really rough season at United. It wasn't clicking for him. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. Look at this. 1-2, all the way around. One defender, two defender, straight past the keeper. Incredible. And you know what? I'm not being funny. See if he wasn't our player and we were watching this, see by tomorrow morning would be linked to him for 100 million. If he was not already our player, he'd be 100 million tomorrow morning and we'd all want him. Well done, Ahmad. Rob, well, that was pretty urgent. It was. Damien, the fire for Ahmad. Huge says, Diamande who? Ahmad is him. Bonkers saying Ahmad goal, all boxed up, saying get in there. Lucky is saying Ahmad Diallo is not for sale. No, he's not, Lucky. I mean, imagine he didn't play for Man United and we saw him, we would want to buy him. But no, he's not for sale. Huge is saying, oh my God. Damien is saying, get in there, Ahmad. Mohammed is saying, damn. Yeah. Go on, the Ahmad. Go on, the Ahmad. That was so good. That was so good. I'm glad I got to see that live. That was excellent. And now Norway have started playing. So for the entirety of the second half, Norway have sat on their 1-goal lead with no urgency and have let the Ivory Coast just play and play and play. Now that they've conceded an incredible goal, unbelievable goal, now Norway have started playing again. And here's the thing. I find it really hard to feel sorry for a team that have sat back on a 1-goal lead and not really tried that hard. So let's see. They're going forward now. They're not able to do much with it. We're just bouncing all over the place there. All boxed up said 2 special goals in this game. Yeah. I'll tell you what. In the tournament, we've had some really, 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 really good goals. We've had actually a lot of unbelievable goals in this tournament. So Cote d'Ivoire did a bit of defending there. They're now breaking. It's been sent out to the right wing. Sent back in. No. Wahi, the wee guy that come on, he messed that up there. The wee chap that was put on, that was substituted on Wahi. It was Pepe that had made the original run, but Wahi just wasn't having it. Do you know what, Flossie? I predicted at half-time, I said, I think 1-1 and then extra time. Now, I actually think we might get a winner. I feel that you can feel it. It's up. We might get a winner here. Who's going to get it? Haven't a clue. But I actually think we might get a winner here. Yeah, agree, all boxed up. That's what I said last night. If you can't win it in the 120 minutes, if you haven't done enough to win it in 120 minutes, anything after that's on you. Yes, Damien, both teams have woken up now. To be fair, I said the Ivory Coast have basically had all of the possession, all of the chances, most of the momentum. What they were lacking was quality in the final third, and that's what Ahmad's given them. Norway, on the other hand, I very much felt like they were just stood off sitting on the 1-0 lead. I really felt like they were stood off. They were just letting the Ivory Coast have the possession. They weren't really trying to close them down. I think it's their own fault. I agree. Now, will Oscar Bob do anything? He was very good in the last match for Norway. Do you know what, though? The Ivory Coast are defending really well. Who's at number 20? Who's number 20 in defence for the Ivory Coast? Where is he? Agbadou. He's been very, very good. He's one of the centre backs. Agbadou. He's been really impressive. Rob said it's a very good game. I'm enjoying it. I have to say, I'm enjoying it too. I have actually genuinely been really enjoying it. It's been a good game, I think. Even better now with Ahmad's goal. Just looking at Ahmad here, I'm trying to work out what's wrong with him. I hope he's not injured. Like, injured. They're going to treat him. I thought that. I'm not. And after Delish, we know the back can be a problem. He's up and walking, Ahmad. He's up and walking. Right, he's waiting to come back on. That's good. He is waiting to come back on, so that's something. That makes me nervous, though, when I see the back. I thought that's what it was, and I was just kind of hoping I was going to be wrong, if I'm honest. They're giving him more spray while he's waiting. I don't like the look of that. There's changes for both sides. So Arsnes is coming on for Norway. He played their last match. So Pedersen off, Arsnes on. He was good in Norway's last match. Okay, Norway are trying to go forward here. Maybe you're right, Flossie. Maybe this is going to extra time. Norway are trying to go forward here. So since the Ivory Coast equaliser, it has been primarily Norway going forward. Ivory Coast are defending really well though. Thing is, if Norway have been capable of this the whole time, they stopped. They were 1-0 up and they stopped. And now the Ivory Coast is equalised. They've started again. I don't like that. So with Norway's backline, they're playing it around a bit slowly too. Like really slowly. They're holding the ball, but they're moving it really slowly. Oh, that's a good ball through from Oscar Bob. Haaland. 2-1. 2-1 to Norway. 2-1 Norway. Haaland scored the goal, but I'll tell you something. That's Oscar Bob's goal. That ball through, they were getting nowhere. They were getting absolutely nowhere. It was slow. They couldn't get through. Oscar Bob, that pass forward from Oscar Bob, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Oscar Bob. Look at this. Unbelievable from Oscar Bob. I mean, the goal is taken well by Haaland. That's the kind of goal that would be easy to sky. And obviously, it's Berg there. Wasn't it Berg sent it in? Berg will get the official assist. I think it was Berg got the official assist. I'm sure it was him that sent it in. Yes, Berg sent it in. But for me, Oscar Bob made that. 2-1 to Norway. He's not really been in the match. No, do you know what? That's not fair. He has been back defending, Erling Haaland. He has. He's done his part defending. We do have a substitution here for the Ivory Coast. Pepe off. Diakite on. Hello, Cyril McCoys. Flossie says a tap in for Haaland. Huge says Haaland is unstoppable. Guest says, of course, Haaland will score. Lucky says, oh no, Oscar Bob. He's been very impressive. Oscar Bob has been very impressive. In the last match we watched of Norway, he stood out. He really stood out. And there now, he's made that goal because without him, that ball was just going to be recycled side to side again. To be fair, I was going to say that, but I actually don't think that's true. I have pointed out Erling Haaland defending multiple times in the match. All those corners, Erling Haaland, he was clearing the ball in the box when the Ivory Coast were attacking. I actually think he may not be involved in a lot of attacks today, but he has been working hard. He has been in defending. I've definitely said his name 4 or 5 times in terms of defending. And he stopped a goal earlier for Cote d'Ivoire. So I was going to say this, but I actually don't think it's fair. Do you know that? Not in this match. Other matches, yeah. This match, I don't think so, though. Jay Red, there's the 2-1 that Jay predicted. All boxed up, same as myself, was talking about Oscar Bob. And there he is. He's definitely good. Like, he's definitely. We spoke about him. We spoke about him in the last match. And he was very good. And now he's been the difference here. If this ends 2-1, he has been the difference. All boxed up would like to be called Mystic Harold. Not like 7 minutes of added time, by the way, people. Not like Mystic Box or something. Mystic Harold. Interesting. Bonker says Haaland has 60 goals in 53 games for Norway. Incredible. I do feel for Cote d'Ivoire here because they've played a good match. They have. And they've tried throughout. Whereas I feel like Norway turned it off and on again. No, I know. In homage to our very own Harold. What I will say is, Ahmad has been very good since he's come on. That Wahi, not so much. Like, Bonnie wasn't very good, but the guy that replaced him hasn't been either. Cote d'Ivoire are going forward here, guys. They're struggling to get it in. If Yandy Amande had got his head to that would have been a goal, you know. They're just showing me loads of replays of stuff. Currently in World Cup goals, this World Cup, Messi is ahead of Haaland by 1. Gesand is coming on for Yandy Amande for Ivory Coast, and Toure is coming on for number 3, Conan. So they've swapped a defender and an attacker. It's supposed to be 7 minutes of added time, right? We're over 3 minutes into that. But now there's been a heap of subs. Oscar Bob is so good. He really is very good. And he's real tenacious, hard working. I really like him, you know. Sangare versus Bob. That was interesting. I thought that was going to spill over a little bit there before the throw. Ahmad trying to create again. Now, Sangara needs to get himself in check, right? Sangara is after being over and basically shoving. It's all spilling over now. It's all spilling over now. Number three now is starting for Norway, but it wasn't him that started it. That was all started by Sangare, and then Sangara's went away off. Right. Odegaard fouls Sangare, right? It's a foul. Sangare then gets up, shoves his head into Odegaard's head. He's after, when he was over there before that throw, Sangare looked like he shoved one of the team in the Norway dugout. He's now after sticking his head on Odegaard's head, and he hasn't had a card. Bob, I don't know who he plays for now. He used to be of City. I'm not sure who he plays for now. City let him go. What a save. What a save. That was an incredible free kick by Ahmad. What a save by the keeper for Norway, Nyland. It is going to be a corner. It's going to be a corner. Defended well, the corner. Yeah, that was an unbelievable save. Unbelievable save. We have a corner here, guys. Corner for the Ivory Coast. Ahmad's going to take it. The goalie's there. The goalie's up. The Ivory Coast goalie's up. Nothing comes of it. He's staying up too. He's not going back. He's staying up. Done. Norway are through. 2-1 to Norway. I have to say, I think against the run of play, I thought the Ivory Coast were the better team. But the fact is, Norway were the ones who got the ball over the line. Norway were the ones who scored the goals. Therefore, Norway are through. Congratulations to Harold. Norway are through to the next stage of the World Cup. Guys, I'm going to go off because I'm going to have my dinner. Then I will be back. This is going to redirect you. I'll be back 10 to 10 this evening. Another watch along. Hopefully, the next one's going to be as good as, if not better than this one. Well done to Norway. Shout out to you guys. Special shout out to Patrick. Incredibly generous again. And just all of you for being amazing. Absolutely incredible. Smash a like if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're new. And hopefully I'll see you shortly, guys. Have a good one.